Has your life always gone the way that you thought it would? I was just listening to a podcast and it made me kind of think back to my youth and where I've come from and what I've become. And I thought I'd share a little bit of my story with you. I'm Sarah Janes from Soap School, and thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to learn more about me and my love for soap making, click the subscribe button beneath and come and join me every week where I share some fun and passion for soap making and cosmetics. Well, I was just listening to Jessica Stansbury's new podcast, and she was talking about how she couldn't really think back to what she was doing when she was younger and the types of things that she was doing, and whether, as many people, the things that she was doing as a teenager connected to her life now. And I started thinking back to when I was a teenager and getting ready for going out into the world of business or work or employment. And I really remember vividly having these regular sessions with the careers advisor, as they were called then. I'm sure they have a posh name now, but it was just a careers advisor back then. And I was always so disappointed when I came out of the sessions because I'd go in with such hope and expectations of being able to find my future. And we basically got into the lesson and you'd just be given a kind of list of jobs that you might be interested in and shown where the library was or handed some leaflets. And I never had any clue at all about what it was that I really wanted to do with my life. And some people were so focused, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. You know, they wanted to be a hairdresser, or I remember one particular guy loved tinkering with engines and he was absolutely set on becoming a mechanic. And it seemed that some people really had very clear visions of what they wanted from their lives. And I, no matter how much I tried and how many of these leaflets I looked at, it was just blank. There was just nothing at all that stood out and said, this is me. And there was a big problem with that because I'm not old, but I'm certainly not young. And back then, there were really two things that you were expected to become if you didn't fit into one of these more career paths. I don't think any of the people that in my school or certainly in my class went on to become doctors or lawyers or anything like that. There was never any suggestion that any of us would become anything like that. And there was certainly never any suggestion that we would go into business for ourselves. It was never even an option that was mentioned to anybody. And I think that's such a sad and missed opportunity for so many people. But the one thing that everybody seemed to fear was that if you had no real path or no specific career that you wanted to do, you had two choices. One of those was to become a shop assistant, and the second one was to go into the typing pool. Well, the typing pool for me was like imagining myself shackled or chained to the typewriter. And I couldn't imagine anything worse than sitting with 100 other people just clacking away on a typewriter, typing mundane and very, very boring documents up for someone that I never even got to meet or engage with. So that was the absolute last thing that I wanted to do. And I didn't take typing at school or secretarial studies. I really didn't take that at all because it just felt, to me, it was almost like a prison sentence. And I know that sounds really strange, but it was just the one thing I never wanted to do. And it's funny because I spend so much time now typing at a computer, but that doesn't feel the same. It's about the things that I want to type up, and that's very, very different. So I wondered whether you'd had a similar experience when maybe you were younger. Did you know what type of career that you wanted? Were you, like many, many people, you were expected to do a certain thing or follow a certain path? And have you experienced problems from loved ones or close friends and family when you've tried to kind of break out of, you know, that very tight fit box that sometimes that we're put in? It's really quite funny because actually when I left school, I started to go back and did evening classes, and I actually learnt how to do shorthand and very proficient typing, in the hope that I'd never need it, but almost as a fallback plan, just in case, because I really started to feel that, you know, you have to do this thing. It's so expected of you. Now, luckily, I didn't ever need to go into a typing pool, although I have once worked as a shop assistant. But my path took a very, very different direction because I was always incredibly creative when I was young. I loved arts and crafts and drawing and painting and clay work and anything to do with that kind of creative streak. And when I left school, I actually started playing with wax in a much, much bigger way. And I became a professional wax artist. And I don't just mean making candles. I painted and sculpted with wax. I did a lot of encaustic work, and it was a huge, huge passion. And it's something that I still love to this day. But as with many things, your life kind of bends and changes, and you go through all sorts of pathways. I followed my dreams in life. And at times it's been really, really hard. And there are always financial constraints and other things to kind of push you down and hold you back from the things that you want. But I would love to hear from you how your journey has kind of played out over the years. Have you been able to follow your dreams? Have you had an idea that you've wanted to follow something, but maybe, like many people, and if this is you, you are absolutely not alone. It's so common for people to really have a burning passion or desire to do something, or maybe to follow a particular path, but they feel that it doesn't fit the box, it doesn't fit the profile. You're going against all of the norms that people expect from you. And sometimes it can be incredibly daunting to kind of even put your toe in the water, let alone go, full on and follow those dreams. So do let me know if you've been on that path, if you've had those struggles, if you've overcome them and had successes with the things that you wanted to follow in your life. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I look forward to spending some more time with you in the future. Take care for now. Bye-bye.